Good afternoon, everyone. Hi from Vienna. Greetings from Vienna. It's a hot day here. It's a Monday afternoon. And I have a great pleasure to welcome a new guest on our YouTube channel, our Yuliya Daineko. Yuliya, welcome to our channel.
Thanks a lot. Hello, Adela. Welcome, everybody. Yes, it's very hot today in Vienna. That's true.
It's a very hot, and thank you for spending this time with us and sharing your golden nuggets, tips and tricks on making your ways to Austria and building an amazing career like yourself. So let's jump into your, CV. So what is that you do at the Telekom Austria group? So what brings you joy at your work, and how do you create these amazing products and services that you have for your customers?
Yeah, right. Let's start with this one. I'm here in Vienna for the last two years, and I came actually because of the work to lead the digital products and services unit in Telekom Austria. Out of Belarus, where I was a marketing director of one of the subsidiaries of Telekom Austria. So it was also A1 these days in Belarus. And even the headline gives you a bit of the freedom, I think, to think what type of the products it could be. These days, I'm personally very much focused on the entertainment. That's a cool and very exciting because you basically, entertain yourself through the products you develop. And we bring the video services and music services to our markets. And we do it in the way that there is a benefit to develop it once. So it's rather complicated IT platform that needs to be brought in order that you can consume the whatever streaming service is integrated in your TV solution, for example, in different markets and through mobile web or smart TV or set-top box like you have in the household. It was a very big change for me since I changed very marketing and business part of work I've done most of my time in the life towards this a bit IT product development. I have to say, first half a year, I had this notebook, which I took with me everywhere, and I was asking questions. And I was actually writing down the answers because there are a lot of terminology. There's a lot of things I really had no clue about before I came here in Austria.
That's we can talk about that a little bit later about challenges that you have faced as well in your role, and not just like a cultural challenges or changes you had. Tell us a little bit a follow-up question. So how did the pandemic affected your job, and how do you see the future of your work and what you're doing in your position?
Once you work in the holding organization where the majority of time you do the connection between different markets, you do it a lot online. So we have 7 markets in our holding, and 5 of them are in this TV topic and 7 in the music topic. So you really work a lot with this intercultural environment. But still, I was a kind of conservative actually when I came to Austria in regards of how the working day life should look like. And I'm really very much team person. So I like when you can, even not walk, but run around the departments, see people, jump on some conversation, have a small chit chat, and by that also energize, and actually the creativity comes also out of that. And that was my learning also coming here in Austria. There is much more flexibility is given to people who works in the organization regarding this flexi way of work. So mobile working, being able to connect from home, even before pandemic. So, and then maybe going a bit ahead of the questions about the challenges and so on, but if you don't mind, I will incorporate them within the conversation. That was the part I didn't like at all in the beginning, I have to say, to not being able to see all of your people around, every moment. And the pandemic part led me to learn and adapt, and actually also liked it. Mm-hmm. So when you're not able at all to go to the office, you search for the ways how you can actually manage the working mode and being with your team even if you're not present. Of course, there are some complications comes on top, but I think my mindset changed very much in this direction, into this driven by results and enjoying and value every single moment where you can manage to be together. Reset up these one-to-ones meetings with your team member and understand it's basically, you might lose something, but you can adapt and you can transfer this conversation and basically the same value that you can get, they can get provide and you can get if you stay together. As a part of the company which is not dealing directly with customers, like there might be some units, we were put on that side where we basically didn't go to the office at all. So I would say, I think I was like 5 times in the office over the last year. And it was such an amazing enjoyment, like just go outside, being in the office, dress up, because it's also, I think, the thing which we a bit lose habit to over the last year. You still didn't meet people because there are quite a few of them, but it brings a bit of the different energy and the flavor. Yeah, that's 5 times I liked a lot, but I was also looking forward to come back slowly to the office. And I sense it's not that easy, to be honest. You also just adapt to be still productive from the home. Mm-hmm. Set up your time, this leisure time, family time, and the office time in the way that none of this will be in favor or the opposite one. And I think quite a lot of people were saying that the first few months you never worked as much as it was in pandemic, because when you try to adjust, you work really a lot. You work hard, and also this video conferencing.
So I assume in the future for you, Yuliya, and for your team, it means a hybrid mode, or a couple of days from home, a couple of days from the office, or
it is, and the company adjusts as well. So there is much more flexibility comes after from pandemic, because we also seen that it works. Actually, it's also looking at the company results as well. So you see it might work. So there is no much need that strict rules and demands. So this hybrid mode definitely will stay, and then it brings much more flexibility than it was in the past.
I love that you mentioned people dressing up and ourselves dressing up. 2 weeks ago, we went to Parndorf, to the outlet, and first shopping after like a year and a half or so. I'm not a big fan of online shopping, and I enjoyed over there. My eyes were enjoying, and I felt lots of joy because I saw people dressed up, makeup, high heels, sitting outside, having lunch with family. So it felt like we are somewhere else. It felt like different universe, and for a couple of hours, it felt like, as I said, different.
Yeah, fully support that, and I think in general we learned how to enjoy very small things. Which were given kind of for free, and now with the ability to bring it back, it's a full of the joy. But you also making mistakes. I mean, or like already the rules, what to follow in order to get this whatever joy and stay outside. And we made this mistake with my husband. I think it was last Friday. You kind of remember that if you go to the restaurant, you need to have a test. If you go to the doctor, you need to have a test. But if you go to the shop, you don't need to have a test. So we decided to go to the cinema, and we somehow considered it's more like a shop style. So we bought tickets. We still had 1 hour to wait. So we walked on the Maria Hilfe. We did some shopping. We came back, went downstairs. We registered because it was a QR code. We bought this pack of popcorn, and we tried to enter the hall. And it was like, you don't have a test, you cannot. And our kids, they already got a call from us that you have 3 hours, all on your side. They were happy. Parents are not at home. And then suddenly in half an hour, we come back with this pack of the popcorn. Parents are back home. But anyway, everybody enjoyed the popcorn, at least.
Yes, so need to readjust. I said that we need to readjust back to this world that we used to be before in all senses. Meeting people is like, oh, should I hug you or not, greet you or not, 2 meters away. Yeah, it's a little bit, it needs adjustment. So at least for me, when I meet new people, it's always a little bit of adjustment needed.
Yeah, you need
used to
to understand what are the roles also applied for the other
Yes.
person, because you understand there is a lot of different levels of readiness to different types of the communication.
Absolutely. Yuliya, you mentioned at the beginning a little bit your way to Austria. Can you tell us a little bit more? So how was it? Were you excited that you're coming to Austria? Have you read everything about Austria, knew every single detail, or you jumped on the train, so to say, come here and then discovered all the bits and pieces?
I'm a kind of a person who who does the step and then thinks about the step. So I get scared afterwards usually. I really try myself not to be very much enthusiastic beforehand or to stop the thinking part. That was a very fast decision. The position got opened like in November, beginning of November. I understood it's purely mine because of the not only just experience, but because of the readiness and interest to go for the broader topic, not scale-wise, but rather impact-wise. Number of markets, diversity of markets, complexity of markets. Somehow I found myself already on the limit when it comes to the one market view. You know it, you understand it, you've done quite a lot. You find yourself very comfort sitting and enjoying what you've done, but it's not exactly what I liked. So, take yourself out of that part and bring it to the new one was the decision. And it was November. And in the beginning of December, I was flying to Vienna to be introduced to the new team.
Wow.
And in January, I actually started. Still in this traveling mode. So my family was in Belarus. I was spending 5 days, working days in Vienna, then flying back for the weekend to stay with my family. And then Monday morning, and the morning, we had very great this plane schedule. So you could go on the plane Friday 9 p.m. And then you're in Belarus after midnight. And 6 o'clock in the morning on Monday, you might take the flight back. I hated this 6 o'clock in the morning flight afterwards because you need to wake up around 2:30 to get on this all of that, taxis and so on. So that was my story. And after 6 months of staying in Vienna and all of the jumps in and out, my family was able also to move with all of the documents and so on. So I would say it was rather quick. I knew Austria quite well from this working surrounding because I worked for the same company for 6 years before I joined the Vienna office. So from that side, I think it was rather comfortable. You know people, you have already set up all of the connections, at least with the Austrian parts. We need still to reestablish the connection with the other markets. You have your reputation. So I think from this working side, it was very easy join in. But I think I caught quite everything which people do catch when they move to the new country, although I felt that what's the not the difference, but what's the problem? I mean, you just go and enjoy. No, it was emotionally not an easy, especially the first half a year without family, going back and forth, and then finding kids' school, finding apartment, setting up these things which you never think you set it up actually when you live in your home country, because all of the small things, like whom to call if something happens, and what is this bill you received, whom, where, what is this phone number you need to check things up. That was very new for me here. So then you search for people who can help you and so on. But anyway, I think we passed already this 2 years cycle, which usually everybody says that you need wait for first 2 years. It's a bit of the tricky, but after 2 it becomes easier. I felt like that this January, that somehow this threshold is met.
So now you feel that you're part of the community here. So you feel like you know
Yes,
where
I
to go and
feel
whom
that
to.
I live here now, although I have to say I just started to study language. So it's just yesterday I had my 14th lesson. So I really just started learning language. But the funny thing is that when I started to study it, I mean, you learn very little in the beginning.
Mm.
But because I allowed myself that now actually I do German, I understood that actually I understand already a lot. So you change this way of thinking from I don't know single word into this, okay, I already studied. And suddenly you understand that you're already inside of that community, at least getting the questions or message in German and reply in English.
Perfect. Yeah, it's so important to have the environment. You know, that helped me back in the days. So I studied at the Deutsche Akademie. So I went through all the courses, and then straight ahead I started working at the company, and we were speaking only German. So the team suggested that they speak only German with me, and that we don't mix it up, because out of experience that they had before. So they had other experiences with other colleagues before who would just, immediately move to English when it's not comfortable in German. So we try to really, push it through. And I tried, if I don't know the word, the explicit word, I try to explain to them. And they supported me along the way. So I think the environment is so important for you to, gain the confidence, and then feel that you can say things, even though you say, okay, it's not grammatically correct. And by the way, nobody speaks grammatically correct German, as we learn in the schools and in the classes. So it's so important to have it, because then you can make such a fast progress.
Yeah, you're fully right. If you're put in the environment which actually force you to speak, you start to do it very quickly. And I think this is one of the fallbacks of this pandemic part. This is for my kids, because they basically came just half a year before pandemic started. But anyway, since they never learned German in Belarus, so it was the new language for them.
Yeah.
I just feel that they might speak better if they would go to school daily and have this community around themselves, but not being locked a bit of this in the household.
Absolutely.
But anyway, it's just the possibility to recap afterwards. Everything is a new normal.
Yeah, as you said, so it's, I think, kids and teenagers, so they had a tough time. So during the pandemic, and I think the whole school system and everything. So it's a big topic. So what really happened, and what did they learn, and how did they felt the whole year and a half. So I think
yeah, we all learn actually. I think quite a lot of new also behaviors of ourselves within this time.
They're learning by doing and growing by doing.
Exactly.
I would say. Yuliya, you mentioned at the beginning, so we met through the network as well, and I'm a big fan of networking and mentoring, and it was such an important factor for me to build a career here in Austria, coming back from Bosnia and starting from the scratch, looking for a job, learning the language and network, and being surrounded by supportive group, and then later discovering mentoring has been an important factor in my career. I wouldn't be here if I wouldn't have found those ways, and I wouldn't have people show me, basically literally took me by the hand and say, okay, you should go there and you should look into that. So how was for you, away from the pandemic, but how was for you to, find new contacts, connect with people, also professionally, but as well privately? You need lots of things, lots of support.
I would agree with you that you cannot really survive, especially in the professional life, and building yourself without networking, without exchanging with the new people, and find actually your people also. And what I personally think is important for me is through the different people I also learn about myself, because it's a mirror for you to also a bit of adjust yourself and see a bit of the reflection and things like that. when I came to Austria, okay, the first thing I think you do when you join any country, you search for the groups on the Facebook or LinkedIn to get connected, to try to understand who can support you on the different things. But if we talk about mentorship and mentoring, the topic became for me important something like I think 3, 4, 5 years ago. And the first experience I had was a kind of reverse mentoring. And I was a mentee for a very young lady in my unit. So it was a bit in the business connection part, and she was my mentor. And I think it was very, very important experience for me. Also like open-minded experience when you are being a manager for quite a long time, managing like 50 people, brands, products, budgets. I mean, you've done a lot, and kind of you feel about yourself, you are in the good way of doing things. And very important is this reflection when somebody young tells you what you could adjust or do differently in order to be also, with the new trends, with the understanding of the different audience, and also reflecting how others like young might become a better supporter or team members of yours if you change something in the way how you run the team or in the business, think about the product as such. That was very good experience for me. And since then, actually, I went into this mentorship part of being a mentor afterwards, starting from the programs when you basically sign up for the yearly mentorship of the person, and then recently been very ad hoc available for those who need the support, being that just professional support for their small business, or like finding connections, or giving some words how you see the personal development of somebody else, or share what you do on your personal development that somebody can support. And the interesting thing is I thought it should be gender agnostic, so I should do it for different people, but somehow mainly women come to that, or sometimes I even find that maybe it's even more suitable for women, I don't know. Or it's just because you might be some role model for them in the certain things.
That's true. And thank you for mentioning reverse mentoring, because I've been reading a little bit lately, and it was mentioned in a couple of companies and organizations that are want to introduce it. And in 2020 I haven't heard of it. Now in 2021 I saw a couple of people writing about it, and at the very executive academy, so we have our female leaders network, so the ladies who have done an MBA, global or professional MBA, so we want to start building that reverse mentoring as well, beginning of by end of this year.
Very eyes-opening thing. And I think and I even think it's gives much more progress also for those who are mentors, because their ability to provide the feedback, ask right questions, or answer these questions which are asked, I think also led them to grow a lot. Go away out of the shy part of that conversation, and being able to be a mentor for somebody who is much more senior.
Yeah, I love that. And I'm, as I said, as we said at the beginning, mentoring is a two-way. It's I get so much from my mentees, and they hit you with all the questions. It's like they come with. I have two mentees. They're in completely different roles. One of them is a student. The other one is a professional in IT, and they come with so many different questions to me, and then I need to figure out, okay, so sometimes I say, okay, I cannot answer it at the moment, so I need to think about it. I need really to go back to myself and realize, okay, what can I share with them? So either a story or an idea or a concept that I saw, or connect them with different people to answer their questions, because it's as you said, you learn about yourself so much. And I believe now the reverse mentoring might be even taking it a step further. than this
Also
usual
maybe
one.
share, yeah, that's exactly. And I think this learning about yourself, I really like a lot. And when I was thinking where I do it most, I know people who do a lot when they read. Through reading. I definitely maybe not this kind of person. I learn a lot about myself when I cooperate with others. So for me, this being in this one-to-one communication with another person for me is the greatest moment to learn and also to grow about myself. And when it was a bit of the hard time when the pandemic started and this first, second, third months, you a bit got lost. I understood that I would like to propose actually my mentorship possibilities to people openly over the Facebook. I did so. And the reason for that was also because I needed support. And I know through that communication, you also get a lot of support as well.
Absolutely. We are, you cannot get successful all by yourself. And, there's a village of people behind every successful person or next to every successful person. Thank you, Yuliya, for sharing. As this is a channel for people who want to move to Austria as well. So are there any tips that you would like to, apart from that you already shared, that you would like to share to people? How can they prepare them best, especially if they're coming with a family? So because you came, with your family.
Yeah, I think I can say that when it comes to schools, that's my personal view. That you just know that the schools are very good. So find it in advance. Go to the school, speak with the manager, and introduce your kids, and then you basically are pretty much set. I have to say that one of the things which I admire about Vienna, and everybody who actually comes not from this old cities and countries, I would suggest to try it out. This is the architecture of Vienna, and this is Altbau houses and these rooftop terraces. Just do it for the first couple of years for you to enjoy this ability and this great views and locations. I already changed the second apartment just to enjoy more and more of that possibility. And the funny thing is those people who live quite a long already time and in Austria and Vienna, who buys apartments sometimes also outside of the Vienna to be in the green side, that, okay, we understand you, it's maybe this first freshman years of being in Vienna that you go in the center and try to enjoy this part. So I would really suggest to do so. And then just, find the community, get connected to people, don't be shy to ask questions, and you will be set up because the city is wonderful.
Thank you, Yuliya. And I will link your LinkedIn contact as well. So if someone would love to continue this conversation with you, they can do that freely.
Please can do so, definitely.
And before we wrap up for today, so I usually ask what my guests are reading, anything that they can recommend, but that as well includes, podcasts or any author, any person that you're following and does write important things that you would like to share with us.
Yes, let us just maybe focus on the following. So it will be not about the leadership or development of the businesses and so on, because I've some kind of found a few years ago that what you need to focus a lot, especially if you've been in the business for a long time, starting very early in your age, is to balance. To find your emotional calm and understanding emotions and being able to be successful without that running and an emotional stressful yourself. So in this particular manner, I would suggest for those who never tried meditations, let's put it this way, start with the very simple book. It's about 10 minutes to meditate. I think it's the one which was recommended also by Bill Gates. It's on the Publicom's book, so that's easy to read, easy to try. There's a lot of tips what you need to do, and just to make this simple 10 minutes a day. But that's definitely what could help you to find your inner strengths and calm down. And whatever you can read also about emotions, and even if it might be the old book, so that's I can recommend Joe Dispenza once. I think this is the book from 2007. So that's about the emotions one also. Please do so. I mentioned maybe in the beginning, I don't read too much, but I really like the podcasts and maybe short videos on. So whenever, if you never heard Michelle Obama, I really like their family. So she recently started her podcast. It's very lively. So we have not only her, but it's nicely originated the way how the sound is set. So her husband, family members also in. I'm very much welcoming you to also to listen to that.
Thank you, Yuliya. Thank you so much. If I may add, one of our members of Making It in Austria, Abigail Soma, she's a mindfulness practitioner, teacher, and she has her own business and her own website, and she does lots of trainings on mindfulness meditation. So if anyone is looking where to go from here, definitely can recommend Abby's Soma video and then her website as well, which is linked to it. Thank you so much, Yuliya.
Thanks.
As you said, success is not a sprint, it's a marathon. We have to show up every single day. So it's thank you for reminding us about that. And thank you everyone for joining here to us and listening to us and listening to our conversation. We hope that you got some great insights about living in Austria, about being successful over the years, and what does it take, networking, mentoring, changing and adapting to new ways and new works and new normal. So thank you for tuning in, and if you like it, subscribe, share, if you have a guest that you would like to see on a show with me, so please let me know, drop a comment or send me a LinkedIn message. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Adela. Thank you, everyone.
Yuliya. Thank you so much.